right, it is the fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media, and the fastest 15 minutes anywhere. We're just gonna go really fast anyway. My name is Judson Powell. All right, here we are again. Had some technical difficulties. Got to get the lighting and all that stuff right. So, but we're we're slowly making progress for Kheprii. Make sure you tune in to Kheprii. It's KATPR with two I's. Kheprii TV, Kheprii.com. You can streaming 24/7, 365, unless unless the streaming company go down or whatever. Let's say something happens over there. But right now, everything is all good, 100. All right. So you can go and check us out. We got music videos playing right now. The return, November 2nd, return of the Concerned Dreadhead show. Our, my all-star DJ, VJ, um, and also my son, who I love dearly. But anyway, so he'll be back, and of course, we are always on top of the latest and the greatest music for you on that particular uh, platform. All right. So Kheprii.com. Go check us out. All right. Today, I want to talk about Dr. Umar. Everybody. And first of all, let me explain something. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Dr. Umar, not personally. Because I don't even, I've talked to him a couple of times on the phone, but I've never, I don't know the man. So I'm just going to be honest. I don't know the man. And the conversations that we had on the phone didn't go well, needless to say, because I was gonna at one point my thing behind the fastest 15 minutes was kind of like to get guests, and then I was like, nah, I probably can't do that because I'm so opinionated. And that's cool, and that's all right. So but I recognize, at least I recognize who and what I am. All right. So, with that being said, I want to get into this stuff about the interracial marriage, because every day it seems like I'm on, if I'm scrolling, no matter where I am, I'm gonna get some type of thing from Umar talking about, well, that should Dr. Johnson. I shouldn't call him by his first name because once again, I'm not, personal friends, but Dr. Johnson. Um, is always on there talking about interracial marriage and also homosexuals or homosexual marriages. And the thing about it is, he is not giving the facts about the true facts. He's giving the facts skewed from the point of view that he's trying to make his argument, which I get because I'm a lawyer. And as a lawyer, I understand when I go to court, I'm not gonna say all the negative stuff. I'm gonna advocate for my position. Whatever my position is or whatever my argument is, then I'm gonna bolster the facts to make my position and my argument look good. And so I get it. But I want to give y'all the other side of the argument so that you have, a good idea of what you should be, or not even what you should be thinking, but at least so that you can evaluate it when you are giving these issues some thought. The first thing is that interracial marriage does not make up a great deal of marriages. All right. According to all of the records that I could find and any of the research that I could do, the highest number at any point in history of interracial marriages, and remember, this is according to um, research statistics that were done by people that were trying to make the argument against interracial marriage, and the the highest percentage that they could ever find of interracial marriages was 19%. So, and on the low end, about 7%. So between 7 and 20%, we'll just round it off. Between 7 and 20% of all people are in interracial marriages. The next part of that information that you need to understand is that out of that between the 7 and 20%, that includes all types of interracial marriage, not just between black people and white people, but between white people and Indian people, between white people and African people, between white people and African Americans, between white people. And, in other words, every type, Filipino, whatever type of marriage, Asian, whatever. These are all world, and this is worldwide. So between 7 and 20% of all the marriages that are out there are interracial marriages of all types, not just between black people and white people, which does what? It pushes the percentages that, especially of what Dr. Umar is talking about, it pushes the percentages of black and white interracial marriages way down. All right, it pushes it way down because all of that's all interracial marriages of any type of race, right? So let's say that let's go with the top number. Even if say we said that 20%, all right, say the 20% is the top number. So even if half of those interracial marriages, so 10% are between blacks and whites, that's only 10% of all the marriages. So then you still got another 90% of marriages that are not interracial marriages, that black people marry black people, and especially black women. Black women have been found that they do not marry outside of their race for the most part. I mean, and the thing is, and then you can't give like specific examples of certain people because it's not factual as it points out to everybody that's in our society. So it's not true. All right, it's just not true. And so the interracial marriage is not our problem. It's not a problem with black folks. It just isn't. And remember that on top of that, our in our community right now, most of us, most of us are not even getting married. I think wow, it was 40. I think it was 43%. Don't quote me on that one, but it was like 43% of all black women will never get married. So that is another number that has to be added into the equation and worked out as far as what we're saying about interracial marriage because it's not true. All right. So even though we cut it down, even if it's 10% of all the people, and most of us are not actually getting married or anything like that, it's not a big problem. And most of the people that are, because and his argument is that when a black person gets rich or famous or whatever, they go and they marry a white person, and then that white person, when they die or whatever, or when their money is passed on, then the money reverts from that black family into that white family. So the white family, so if it's a black athlete and he has a whole lot of money and then he marries into a white family, well, when he dies, that white family gets all of that generational wealth back. But that's not even true because any children that were the result of that marriage, they're according to the one drop rule, they're black. So the children from that marriage or whatever who inherit whatever it is, they're black. All right. Because look, I mean, let's example Dinah Ross. Dinah Ross married a couple of white guys, right? Well, her children, if you look at her children are black, and her children got her, are going to get her money. So his argument, so that argument is not true. It's not a real argument. And then let's talk about this. Diana Ross was broke and poor. I mean, she wasn't broke and poor. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like she was destitute or anything like that. But she ain't have, Greek shipping tycoon type money. So a lot of times, and so to say that we're sending all of that money back is not true. That is not factual, because when we marry, we also get money, white money, transferring into our families when we interracially marriage. You see what I'm saying? It's not a one-way street. It's not just like, oh, they get married and whatever. And then here's the other thing, and I was discussing this with somebody the other night, talking about like all of the black people who don't get married, period, and are wealthy, and then their children end up getting nothing because they weren't married. So for example, there have been several high profile people that have passed away. They've been rich or whatever, but because they weren't married to their baby mama, they didn't get their children didn't get that generational wealth. Ain't got nothing to do with race. It's got to do with the fact that, and then people walk around talking about, well, I don't want the government in my business. The government is literally in all of your business. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you, but the government knows everything about you. If you have a birth certificate and if you have a social security number in the United States of America, the government knows about you. So don't act like you not getting married is a way for you to hide from the government, because it's not. They just know. And the other thing is, how do you think they calculate these statistics? How do you think they get the statistics about how many of us are married and how many of us are interracially married and all of that kind of stuff? How do you think they get those statistics? They get those statistics because they have us on record. They know who we are. And they know, that's why do you think the census, and now they don't even ask you a lot of times about the stuff in the census. They got people now with the advent of computers and artificial intelligence and all of these things, they don't even need to talk to you. All right. So that's why it's a misnomer for us to sit up there and talk about snow bunnies and all of that kind of stuff. It doesn't really matter. Marry who you love and marry who you can make a relationship with, because so many look, when we got almost 60% of the marriages failing and ending in divorce, then obviously, the more important thing is, how do you make your marriage work, or how do because that's more dispositive of losing black wealth. Because if 60% of us, 50, 60% of us are getting divorced, because you're going to lose money. I remember my grandfather always, that was one of the things, in his law practice, because he didn't want to do divorces. And the reason why he didn't want to do divorces was because he said everybody that gets divorced loses a certain amount of their money that will never come back to them again. And black people can't afford that. So that is a real problem, because that number is up there. That's a 50 half. Just say that's half, 50%. That's half of us, our marriages are ending in divorce. So that is a bigger problem to black generational wealth, because if we split up our families, we don't have a chance of accumulating that generational wealth. Not the fact that I'm married to somebody of a different race, that ain't got nothing to do with it. And even if I am married to somebody of a different race, if I keep my relationship together, then the opportunity and the chances for that money, for that generational wealth to circulate back into our community and into our families is still there. It remains, because the money don't see color. That's what I was saying. So you got to be honest about all of this stuff. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. Think about what I said because it's not who you marry, it's that you stay married. Anyway, fast 15 minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget Kheprii TV. Go tune it in, Kheprii TV at Kheprii.com, or we always stream it on the Roku Network. Love you.